to the studio. Welcome back to Gaming Studios, where today you are playing the Stanley Parable. We are playing the Stanley Parable here. Let me adjust my mic here so I'm not... Alright, I'm going to put it right there. This is an interesting game. I played it a few times, but there's multiple endings to the game. Like if I go... One thing that's cool, if I go to options, if I go to extras and the achievements, if I disable this and then enable it, I get the achievement. Look at that. Disable, I can just get it over and over if I want. Interesting. It's an interesting game. There's like 20 some endings to this game. So we're going to play through this game, see how many endings we can find. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Just remember that, guys. If you guys haven't heard of this game, I don't know if you guys have been...
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Or was he?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, so now we're in control. We can kind of look around. Like I said, this is an interesting game. There's like, I think, close to 20 endings to this game. So you're gonna... There's a lot of exiting to the main menu and stuff. It's quite interesting. Locked.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
See, this is a game where you can go to the meeting room, or you can possibly find a door that takes you somewhere else, and you can disobey, or you can follow the rules. 420, look at that. Look at all these rooms. There's just rooms after rooms. Alright. I hate Mondays, alright. Tuesdays are worse than Mondays, I think. I don't mind Mondays.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Door to the left, so we can actually enter the door to the left, or we can go to the right. After we go through one, I don't think you can come back. So, maybe this episode will do all doors that are always on the left, and see where we end up. See, after I go through here, can't go back. See, this is when it gets really trippy because these hallways start changing and stuff. So, looks like this is the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright, we're gonna... standard graphs. I want to go through this game sometime and see everything that I can actually find. Like, is there some money, more money, things but what with money to buy more things? Graphs about things and money. It's kind of interesting. Alright. So, broom closet. Oh. Let's go in the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
But did I, though? Alright, let's close it. What if I open it again? Sometimes when you... I thought maybe sometimes when you open doors and close them a few times, maybe they turn into other rooms. Doesn't look like that's the case.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs, but we said we were going to go left. This would technically be left, so let's go downstairs. Alright, we're going to go into this room.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah, I'm going through the exact same door.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
This is the garage again.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
All right, and... Nope, we're still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh. That can't be one of the endings, can it?
This is the story of a woman named Mariela.
What? Got a new story.
Mariela woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Oh!
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Is that one of the endings? I just went crazy and died? No, that's one of the endings. Now we're back at the beginning. This is my room. So we found one of the endings. Let's see if we can find another one of the endings.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, to the meeting room. So we've died already.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, we're gonna keep going to the left. This time we'll go up the stairs. I'm gonna jot down that I went left, door, and then the stairs. We're gonna go up. I'm gonna make sure that I don't repeat myself on some of these. I don't think I will, but, you know, just in case.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Excuse me.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to
Who
his
moved
boss's
my
office,
desk?
hoping
Please
he
keep
might
the
find an
targets
answer there.
on the topic of... why is that blurred out? Let it... Oh, how to solve this. Let it ball up inside you. I said... Alright. Is this a different room this time, you think? Nope. We'll close that. Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yes, we did. Wow, this boss's office is up some creepy stairs. Can't go to the executive bathroom. Look at that, those walls. I don't know if I like that or not. A little creepy. No receptionist. That's the word I'm looking for. Those are locked. This is the boss's room.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Where was this? Behind the desk?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Oh, there it is. It was 2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Alright. That looks dark. Right, so that does lead to... This is an elevator? Oh, hey now. Alright, alright. We got something new here. Oh, we're at a loading. Loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
This is a little creepy.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, this can't be safe. Or escape. No, we said we're gonna go left, so that'd be escape. Alright, we're gonna go this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Will I? Will I die again?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nope, we're gonna keep going. Wow, that's so far back there. This is a long hallway. You kind of wonder.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
But we're gonna jump. Should we kill ourselves? Oh! We survived that?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Well. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh my. Oh! That didn't kill me. Oh wait.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What? So I was dead? I was never alive? Stanley's computer. Is this like a museum? Oh wait, is this my desk? And I walk... Yeah! It's the office layout. So I started here, I walked down there, went into here, and this is where I went into the office. I think. No, this was... The office was... Where was the office? This is the way when I can choose my first two doors. The two doors, yeah. Okay. So we got filing cabinets. We have the office computers that apparently we can turn off. Can I turn them back on? Nope. So there's the credits. Was this actually the way that you're supposed to finish the game? Button sounds. What do these sound like? Alright. These are the offices. So there's the people that made the game. So we can go... This is a massive museum. Office. The maintenance room. That's where I went down the shaft. Large If someone could just get rid of the text, maybe then I could see what the game is about. The point of the Stanley Parable HD Remix is to lose. The point of this is to win. These are screenshots of the Stanley Remix. So is this actually how you're supposed to technically end the game? I know there's a whole bunch of endings to this game, but I've never had this one. The apartment timer. Oh. Cargo lift. We didn't see that. We didn't see the cargo lift. That must be a different way to play. Okay. Options 1, the lounge, staircase. Ah. So I took this. Okay, okay. Meeting room. What's this? Oh, we didn't see any of these. No, we weren't in that room yet. The game is now paused. Begin the game, restart the game, options, and return to the menu. Escape menu. For a long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which is frustrating for everyone. For a long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape room. From the escape room, the escape menu. Resume the game. Now, we'll have to try that. I know if you reset the game and stuff, some things, there's a countdown room. Alright, does this lead me... This is... I don't know if I've been here. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I know where I am. The mind control. Yeah, this is... This was the mind control.
This elevator for sure. We're getting right back on track to Stanley, so we want to smell the story.
Oh, this is the narrator. Is this where the narrator would sit and... Yeah. Employee lounge. It's kind of cool. We're going to kind of look around a little bit and see if we can find anything else. We have office clock. What time is it? It's like 5 o'clock. Almost 5 o'clock according to that clock. Okay, we've gone... Exit. That's the exit. Let's make sure that we haven't missed anything. This museum is huge. I came up from that way. There's my cubicle, 427. Alright, so it looks like we're going to the room that says exit. Exit. Stanley Parables on and off.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
This is going to just put us back.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
No, we're not stopping.
Do choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Hey. Maybe next time we'll have to push escape. No loading screen? Oh, you have to begin the game again, or oh. Can we let's see, extras. Achievement. We're just stuck at this black screen. We have to begin the game again. We've killed ourselves twice. Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to end this game, or this episode. We're going to come back to this game. We're going to find more endings to this game. So if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It does change colors when you hit it. And yeah, I'll see your beautiful faces in the next Stanley Parable. See ya!